Good evening, family. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. I am doing wonderful. I am preparing to relax and close out for the evening. And I just wanted to come on and talk about a little something, something. I've been seeing a lot of talk here lately on the topic of overthinking and why we do that. Why do we overthink? What is it and where does it come from? Who is more prone to overthinking? Just, what is it about and why do we do it? And so I wanted to come on and talk about it a little bit. Um, Here lately, it's been a big topic, and I've heard a lot of people um, trying to sort through the causes and trying to understand it, and what do we need to do to fix it, to overcome it? Because with all that's happening right now in the world, um, with the, a lot of depression and a lot of, confused minds and people thinking that they're, losing it. It's a lot of chaos right now, guys, and it's triggered a lot of overthinking in people's minds, and I'm hearing about it. I've heard people I know talk about it, and I've seen it mentioned, on social media and different places. So it's a very common topic now. People trying to understand, where does overthinking come from? Why do we do it? And how can we fix it? So I just wanted to come on for a few minutes and just give you, I've been doing a little bit of research. I want to just give you a little bit of what I've learned, and maybe hopefully it'll help you if you are a victim. I say a victim. If you're overthinking, let me just put it like that. If you're going through that. And so I understand that many of us that are empaths, those of us who are deep thinkers, those of us who care very deeply, um, those of us who are very sensitive, um, very loving and kind-hearted beings are, I understand, more prone to deal with overthinking, and and so it's very common with beings of, that have those kind of personalities. So I've learned that there are three reasons that we overthink, and one of them is um, when things happen in our lives, and they're things that, you know that are regretful, things that are regretted. Just say it that way. Things that happen that, we some many times don't have any control over, and sometimes we do. And even when we do have control over it and we do things, we're beings, so we make errors and things happen, and then we regret it, and it's already done, and so the only thing left, you can't go back and change it. So a lot of times people will begin to focus on it, and can cause overthinking. And so that's one of the reasons, when you have a thing that happens in your life that you regret. And the second reason that people overthink is when you worry what others think of you. If you're one of those that are constantly concerned about what somebody else is thinking about you, how does somebody else is viewing you, and I wonder if they're judging you, judging me. You're always concerned about what you're doing and what people think about what you're doing. Um, you know, um, how did it look? How did I look during that time? Or in this situation, I wonder what people think about my response. Or you're constantly worrying about what others think. That's another reason that people overthink. They're always worried about what other people are thinking about them. And so that constant thinking and waking up in the morning, and it pops in your mind, and before you go to bed at night it's there in your mind, and all through the day it's almost like you just can't get rid of those thoughts. People are talking about that the issue of overthinking now. I'm hearing about it a lot. And so that's the second reason that people overthink. They have a constant concern of what people are thinking about them. And the third reason that people overthink is that we are afraid that something bad is going to happen. And that can kind of tie into anxiety when you are constantly ravished with, what what's coming. You've been through a lot in your life, and you always anticipating what next, what's coming the next time. Is it going to be worse than what happened last time? You constantly thinking like that. And so you begin to overthink, what's going to happen tomorrow, and overthinking can a lot of times put you in the future. That's kind of what anxiety does. You constantly wondering what's coming, what's going to happen, what's next. And so that's another reason that many people overthink. So the three reasons is you regret what happened, something happened and you wish it didn't happen, and you just, it's almost like you just can't let it go. It's like it just keeps turning in your head. And then you're worrying about what others think of you. You're always concerned about, you know, you went to an event and people saw you when you walked in and you wasn't sure if you wore the right dress, or the shoes, were the shoes on point, or man, maybe I shouldn't have wore that bracelet or that necklace, and I wonder what do they think. You're constantly wondering what others are thinking. And again, the third reason that you're afraid that something bad may be happening, kind of like maybe happening or about to happen. So and it's just, it rolls in your head. So the one thing that I am reminded is that we have to learn how to live in the presence. We have to learn how to let the presence uh, uh, be our constant thought. What's happening right now. Remember, we can't do anything about yesterday for the most part, and tomorrow hasn't even happened yet. So we need to learn to practice being in the present. Your mind is a liar. Your mind constantly lies to you. Yeah, and the one thing I haven't really gotten enough research on is, you know, for sure, everything, I haven't learned enough to know exactly what all causes your mind to lie. There's a lot more that I want to dig into that and to understand it. But your mind constantly lies to you. Your perception, is I talked about that a few days ago, how your perception is tied to, several things that's only with you, your experiences and how you grew up and the things that you've seen, and many things that create a perception of certain things for you. And so your mind can lie to you, and just because you think you see something doesn't necessarily mean that it is real, and it may be your reality, but actually being real can be, it could be not real, not necessarily real. So the mind is just it can be complicated. It's a lot to really try to understand when you're dealing with the brain, the mind. um, I read where 80% of what we think is not true. It's not the gospel. It's coming from whatever formulates our thoughts and creates our perception. So, majority of what we think is it's just not 100% true. Isn't that something? Yeah, I read that. I got that in my studies. Um, your mind will tell you a big lie every day. And we may tell people all the time. We say a lot. I know people that say a lot all the time. I'm not, I'm not judging anybody. I don't judge people. I don't judge. But are you really not judging when you look at someone and you formulate an opinion about them in your mind? What is judging? Um, your mind tells you lies every day. And the thing about that is, in this time where we are able to, our intuition is more heightened, and we're able to see through things, see through people. And I don't care at what level you are in your ascension process. You don't have to be at the very top of your ascension process to be able to and to be intuitive about people, a lot of their behaviors today. So you can, it's for myself, it's not hard for me to feel and believe that I'm being judged. But you can just, certain things people can say to me can clarify that, I'm in a state of, they are putting me in a state of judgment. That's not very hard for me to see. But exactly what they're seeing in their minds, I may not be able to articulate that. But I can tell, a lot of times I feel like I can tell when I'm being judged. So we have to still be careful, because the mind lies to us, and we think we're right. That I think maybe the ego may get in there sometimes and convince us that we're right about everything that we think, when majority of the times we're not right. We're just not right. Research it. Dig in and research that, because that's what I'm learning. The mind lies to us all the time. And then we begin to overthink it, and then it becomes our reality, and it may not even be real. So overthinking can be really something. Um, don't allow limiting thoughts to destroy the beautiful you. A lot of times, and I have been guilty of this myself, I have to be honest. A lot of times we begin to limit our thoughts and get stuck on something that it may not even be, the gospel, and it gets stuck in there, and it begins to change the way we behave. It begins to become our personality. It begins to become you. you know Repetitious thinking of the wrong thing and the things that are not real over time becomes real to you, even if it's not really real. So overthinking can become a habit that can become very, very detrimental to you, and it was begin to make your thoughts limited and begin to formulate again a personality. So we have to be very careful. um, Whatever you consume will consume you. Whatever you focus on, whatever thoughts that you're really focusing on, it becomes you. So we have to be very, very, very careful, because then it grows. And when it grows, it becomes more you. Sometimes you have to lose your mind to come to your senses. I've been hearing that now quite a lot here recently. And over the years, I remember I used to hear people say, sometimes you've got to lose your mind in order to find it. And I used to wonder, really? But in this age of Aquarius time, where we're struggling to get through this mental war, I am finding out in real time, listening to many of our people, and what they're experiencing, and actually seeing some of the behaviors from friends and family, I have found that it is true that many times we have to lose our minds in order to find it. I could really get, I could, guys, I can really get deep on that if I had time to really just dig in and talk about it. I have had experiences with people that I know that have been behaving in certain ways and saying certain things, and things that I have seen with my own eyes and experienced with people, where you almost think that they're losing their minds. It appears that, and you ask them, what is wrong? What is wrong? What is going on? And then eventually they begin to come around, and they're different. They're totally different. Even better. You see a whole better behavior in that person. I've experienced it with a couple of people. I've seen it. So the phrase, sometimes you have to lose your mind to find it, that's real, guys. It is definitely real. It is. But I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about overthinking, because that's a very obvious problem today with a lot of people. And I've had some young people to even come to me and talk to me about their own experiences, how they wake up in the morning and the thing that they went to bed with, that they tried to get off their mind that night before they wake up the next morning, that's the first thing pop in their mind. So, and it's all, guys, tied into fear. Fear is such a detriment to us. And that's why we got to get rid of fear. We cannot live in fear, because fear is at the core of all of this. This chaotic world, fear. We've got to conquer fear. Once you conquer fear and begin to live in love, then everything begins to work out. So, but just understand that we have to, the main key, this is I'm trying to give you some solutions. And so the one solution that I embrace, and that I believe is the best solution, is to learn how to live in the present. Because when you're constantly living in the present, you can't overthink. You cannot overthink. And also, I believe understanding what overthinking is and where it comes from and the reasons. And I just outlined the 3 reasons that we overthink. Once you begin to understand that and then begin to practice living in the present, you will conquer it. You will amazingly conquer the problem. You will. And so I just want to talk to you a little bit about it, guys. I'm not going to stay on, and it's not too much more to say, because it's not a very broad topic, and I want to say it's very simple. It's not as simple as some of us may think it should be, but it's just a few reasons why we do it. And if we can understand those reasons, and then understand the cause, basically the kinds of personalities that are so prone to overthinking, and just begin to understand all that and learn how to live in the present, then we can conquer it and get it under, at least get it under control. And that's what I wanted to talk about this evening, is just trying to conquer and get under control the problem of being an overthinker. It's happening a lot, guys, in this chaotic mental war that we're experiencing. But if you're one of those out there that's having problems with overthinking, hopefully this video will help you some, or at least scratch the surface a little bit, and you can start trying to understand it better, and then move forward to trying to conquer it, and getting on the other side of it. I hope it helps some. And I just wanted to come on and talk about it a little bit tonight. Um, I'm not going to stay on. I'm going to go ahead and prepare to sign out. But I want to ask you to like the video if anything I said resonates with you, and share, because when you share it, more people can see it, and I appreciate that if you do that for me. And I'm just going to say assalamu alaikum to you. Namaste, ashe, ashe, ashe. Let's stay healthy, guys. Keep your head up, get some sun, and let's try to overcome overthinking. It's a very common condition that most people I know, many have shared with me that they've dealt with. So let's conquer overthinking and move into a more healthy mind and state. I love you guys very much. And until next time, I'm going to say, have a good night. Bye bye.